Welcome to this new Smart interview. We are here and really pleased to be here with Enrico Degara, a friend and also Chief Sustainability Officer of YKK ITALIA SPA. So Enrico, here we are again. We are colleagues. We are friends in everything that is also sharing, innovation and responsibility through the whole supply chain. But I think it's important today to start from the basic that I think is really important. Can you take us through what's YKK and its role vision when it comes to responsible innovation?
Sure, with pleasure. Thank you, Giusy, for your invitation. As you said, we are old-time friends, and we every day feed ourselves with these topics. So it's really a pleasure to be here and have a chance to expose our stance on sustainability more in general, on what is related to environmental and social responsibility. Well, coming to your question, we believe that YKK has a kind of responsibility because we are one of the biggest and most reputable fastening products companies in the world. And because of this, we have to contribute to pave the way towards a more sustainable method of making business in the textile industry. Actually, technically, we are not a textile company, but most of our customers are fashion brands. And therefore, this is where we think that we can give our biggest contribution in terms of responsibilities I mentioned. YKK was born because of the idea of our founder. A very clear idea was in his mind, and this idea turned immediately into a philosophy. Actually, it's currently our company's philosophy. It's called the cycle of goodness. And it recites, no one prospers unless he renders benefit to others. And this is the starting point, and actually our everyday beacon and compass on what we do in our strategies and our actions. And yeah, YKK has done a lot of public commitments since then. The first two public commitments were two pledges in 1994, the environmental pledge and the earth and safety pledge. And from that moment on one side, the environmental protection, and on the other side, the social protection or safeguard has become two main pillars in our activity. And yeah, then a lot of other initiatives, just to name a few, the subscription of the United Nations Fashion Industry Charter for Climate Action, or the commitment towards the Science-Based Targets Initiative, or being member of the Ellen MacArthur Foundation to promote circularity, the UN Convention on Biodiversity COP15 that has been recently subscribed. And all of these kind of things are definitely public faces of our activity, but what is really important is what's behind. And coming to your question on responsible innovation, I think that we have to split into three main areas where we really can contribute. The first one is products. If we can market more sustainable products, at the same time, we can, in a way, be automatically more sustainable. But we cannot forget the second aspect, which is the production process. Having sustainable products means nothing if we pollute or we do not respect people when making them, when manufacturing them. So having a clean or as clean as possible production process, both on a environmental and social points of view, is really important. And the third point, which started a bit later, but is probably becoming the most important, is once we have done what we can do for ourselves, how can we support our customers to be more sustainable? And this is the area of, let's say, in general, solutions that can help the fashion and textile industry to be more circular and more sustainable in general. So yeah, we are just a part of the whole. When we look at our product, the footprint that we generate is definitely much smaller than materials that are used in much larger volumes, so even the final products. But we do believe that we can do something, and these are the ways that we want to adopt, actually.
And this is very important because each meter counts. There is not something that is less important than another one, because we need to reach, perfection is not about this word, but the best possible, achievable. I think it's important. And you touch a very important point, that is the product, because we need to have solution for the market. Which is your latest eco high-tech solution that you presented in the market?
We have a lot of research and development centers around the world, and one very important is based in Italy, and it's one of the most active in terms of sustainability-related developments. Again, if we stick to the taxonomy that I mentioned before, products, processes, and support to the customers. Speaking of products, it's mainly the area of materials. Materials are very important. The adoption of innovative materials is the new frontier. But I want to be honest, we have to, walk on eggshells. We have to be realistic, because every day we see materials coming from all sources, from fruits, from vegetables, from mushrooms, from whatever. Currently, recently we heard someone speaking of capturing CO2 and making plastic out of it, which is technically not impossible, but probably is not around the corner. And we have to be realistic. We have to select what is ready at an industrial scale, or what will become likely ready in the near future. For this, we have to be on the lookout and be ready to investigate and adopt the solution if possible. But many of the solutions will never be ready at the scale that we need. And so it's not only about research in the market, it's also about being clever enough to select what is really applicable and eligible for our products. And this is about the products, and I can name a lot of products that we have put on the market. Commonly, our commercial brand for the products with the recycled materials is NATULON. And when you see NATULON, it's definitely something containing recycled fibers. But of course, also the use of organic natural fibers, or the use of bioplastics. Well, it's a huge world that is opening in front of us. But then I want to mention process again. As I said before, product without process is nothing. And unfortunately, fashion is being, textile fashion industry is being told to be the second biggest polluter in the world. Now it's called, it's said to be the fourth, but it doesn't care. Anyway, whatever the position in the ranking we are, is not a Soros going down. The point is that we have to invent something really less impacting. And unluckily, in the textile world, the processes can be very, very polluting, especially wet processes, in our case, dyeing or plating. So we are always committed in developing new processes and new technologies that can reduce or minimize the impact. I want to mention in this case an example which is very important for us. It's called acroplating. Acroplating is a completely new technology patented by YKK that gives us the possibility to color metal in the same way, or actually in a better way, with a better quality than the traditional electroplating, and using no harmful chemicals, so creating no dangerous sludge, using no thermal energy, and using a much lower portion of water and electricity. And well, this is also has also been certified by an independent body called Peterson. and through an LCA that they conducted in our factory. And it's one of the ways that we think will really impact in the future by reducing the impact of our actions on the environment. And I cannot forget about circularity. It's the third pillar that I mentioned before, and now circularity is the frontier of sustainability. Because, you know, it's clear that we cannot exploit natural resources forever. And we have to make use of what we have used already. And we think that we can contribute mainly in two ways. One is selling products with a high quality. This will reduce the need of replacement, and so eventually the volume of production. And the second is developing products that can help our customers to reuse or recycle the garments when they reach the end of their lives. And a couple of years ago, we have marketed a quite innovative product. It's a zipper made of almost only of polyamide nylon. And when sewn onto a polyamide garment, it allows to reuse, to recycle that fiber without disassembling efforts, which are, of course, completely anti-economic. And now we are on the market with a second version made of recyclable fiber, but also recycled fiber in cooperation with Econyl. I think it doesn't need any presentation. And we have developed this same product with recycled nylon. And this is just an example, but then we have
many.
Yeah. For example, we have a couple of sliders that allow the final consumer to replace the slider itself or the puller when it is off. These kind of things are innovations that sometimes easy, sometimes pretty complicated, but goes in the direction of making the product more circular.
Yeah, and thank you, Enrico, because you know, in really 10 minutes you have summarized you know, the fact that responsible innovation has to be something, you know, available to make it happen today. It needs to be a solution today and not to fly too high sometime. You know, it's important to innovate, but we have to have solution even now. It's important also, you know, to think about products, but also about process, because both of them are heavily contributing, you know, to contaminate and to poison, as you were mentioning. You know, fashion is at the fourth, you know, in the range, but, you know, not something to be proud of still, you know, and the fact that, you know, measuring the impact is really important. And, you know, you were mentioning LCA and so on, and the synergy, you know, the fact that you're working also with some important textile producer in order to join forces to make it happen in a better way. So really in 5 minutes, a very good strategic, you know, where C.L.A.S.S is completely aligned, and that's why we're talking a partnership. But I would like also to hear something that I know is very, very important for you, that are the new generations. How you talk to them, because we know that, you know, they are, you know, fundamental for the next steps, even today, you know, and how YKK is handling this kind of important strategic subject.
Well, first of all, I have to say that we are a bit selfish, because we almost sell only on the B2B market. So we leave the burden to speak with final consumers to our customers. But it's not that easy, actually, because of course, for our customers, in order to convey an appropriate message to the consumers, we need to speak the same language with them. And what's happening, actually, as you correctly mentioned, is that the new generations are taking over the old ones. It's natural, luckily, it's happening.
Yeah.
We see this on the market, but as well as in the organizations of our customers. The people we used to relate in the past, and the positions of these people are taken over by young boys and girls. Now is the time of millennials and Gen Zers. In the next years will be Generation Alpha, and we have to be ready for that. Even if we are an almost 90-year-old company, we have to renew ourselves so to be aligned with what's happening in the reality, in the world. The language is a very important point. We have to adapt ourselves and be quick, be social, of course, be digital, here and now, immediately usable. But one of the points that we really notice, and it's extremely important, and that we believe it will be more and more in the future, is that these people, these young people, want or even give it for granted that we have to be transparent. We have to share information without any reluctancy. They expect that. It's not a plus that we can give, it's a must. And reputation goes hand in hand with transparency. I'm sure that in the future, companies not owning an appropriate reputation will be thrown out of the market. And this is the real piece of news. If we are not ready in this, we will not win. And in the past, it was only about price, first of all, and service and quality. But now the fourth leg of the table is reputation, is transparency, is integrity. And our company has built in the past almost 90 years a very solid reputation of a fair and good company, luckily. But we cannot give up. We have to continuously work on this based on our values, on the cycle of goodness I mentioned before, and continuously nurture this position, because it can be easily lost if we will make mistakes, and it's not acceptable at all. We want to be that kind of company now and in the future. So
new generation of value is part already of the DNA of the company, that I think is really important. And this new step, becoming partner of C.L.A.S.S, really honored about it, really happy, because we know that we put new amazing solution available to the market inside of our community. Maybe you can talk about why you decided to do these extra steps.
About that for you, we decided because C.L.A.S.S is one of the definitely important partners we want to work with. We are a pretty big company in the world, but we are humble enough to understand that we need to cooperate with many bodies and subjects globally, and particularly here in Italy, where fashion is so important. We need their expertise, we need their suggestions, we need to share experiences and ideas. We work with a lot of entities, with university. We are a partner of Monitor for Circular Fashion, SDA Bocconi, as an example. We work with universities, we work with NGOs, with consultants, of course. Well, C.L.A.S.S is the last in line in the timeline, but definitely not in importance, because C.L.A.S.S has the capacity to help us to understand materials, to understand what's happening on the market. You have a huge database of materials and components and suggestions that you can give us. And at the same time, we have something, actually, we have a lot to say about sustainability. But we need someone willing to listen to us, right? Otherwise, we will just speak to ourselves. And C.L.A.S.S, we believe, can help us to relate with those people that are interested in hearing our voice, maybe sometimes criticizing us and helping us to understand if we are going the right or the wrong way. But this is the only way that we can grow. So C.L.A.S.S, thank you for your welcome, but we are more than honored to be part of this membership, and I'm sure that we will profit a lot from it.
Yeah, I think that, as they usually say, 1 + 1, in this case with YKK, is going to reach around 8, we are very close because it's really join forces, and join capacity and join expertise. And we strongly believe in that.
Yeah.
And last but not least, can you share something new, about your next steps or something that is going to happen, like...
Yeah, well, I think I need to say myself that the journey has just begun. Otherwise, I will lose my motivation. But I'm sure this is the reality. The journey has just begun. I don't want to sound, tragic or pessimistic, but it's clear that we have to accelerate. The world is, the situation is really bad, and we need to go much faster if we want to save humankind on this planet. We witness climate change every day, but also on the social side, abuses, exploitations, and working conditions that should have disappeared since long. This is not acceptable anymore, and we have to do something. Well, as I said before, we are just a drop in the ocean, but many drops make the ocean. So
exactly,
we want to contribute to start and to nurture this virtuous circle together with our customers and entities like C.L.A.S.S or the ones that I mentioned before. We are very much committed in researching new solutions on the product and process side, and YKK was born as an industrial company and is an industrial company. So our first thought when we want to do something is, okay, let's study new technology, and we are very good in that. But it's not only about that. It's not enough. We have to think how to be a good partner to our customers in addition to products and processes. And this is what actually is my responsibility, to try and find a way to be a partner more than a supplier. And the way we do this is very simple. We follow our commitments. YKK Corporation, our headquarters in Japan, has issued 2 years ago the so-called YKK Sustainability Vision 2050. Is the vision, as the name says, towards a long period up to 2050, and it's more than a vision, it's an action plan. And I'm sure that by sticking to it very seriously, investing money and time on it and skills, we will do something very good. I'm sure that this will not be enough. We are just one out of many, but together with you and other customers, partners, everyone, we will make the difference.
Well, how to say it better? Thank you so much, Enrico, because in this half an hour, you have touched all the key arguments that are in the DNA and heart of C.L.A.S.S, but we know that from a long time is in YKK at global level. So thank you very much. This is just the first conversation that we will have, because one of the objectives is to share with our community all the things that you are doing. And we know that, you just highlighted to us NATULON and what's the name exactly about this technology? Acroplating. Acroplating.
Acro comes from the soil, the land, and plating is plating.
Okay, I love this and I want to know more already.
Sure.
So let's keep in touch, and thank you so much. Really good to have you on board and good to start working together.
Thank you very much.
Grazie.
My pleasure. Grazie.
Arigato.